Around the Kit with Joe Gansas.
And now your host, Joe Gansas.
Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to Around the Kit's first video live stream show. We had some problems in the beginning, but these things happen. I wanted to just take this time to remember the great Alan White, who we lost recently from, yes, tremendous loss. And to also, I wore this shirt today to honor those Memorial Day, always remembering those who served and fought for our country. If you'd be so kind to hit that like and subscribe button down below, that would really help us out. Let's get things going. We got a tremendous show for you tonight. At 8:30 p.m., we're going to be talking about two of the best in the world of drumming. And from the band Periphery, the tremendous Matt Halpern will be with us. Just a tremendous talent. In the 9:30 spot, a living legend in the world of drumming, David Garibaldi, will be joining us. And we thank you for viewing us tonight on this Around the Kit video live stream show. We got to speed things up a little bit, and we're going to bring on our roundtable soon. If we can just get to that going soon. Let's try to bring on three tremendous drummers right now, if we can, in Mark Zonder, Tom Brechtlein, and Paul Wertico. They should be on hold waiting for us.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Joe.
Guys, how are you?
Good.
I apologize. It's our first show, and you know with things in life, things happen. So we got the kinks out. But how you doing, Tom Brechtlein, Paul Wertico, and Mark Zonder? How you doing, brothers?
Good. I think we're missing somebody. I only see you.
Oh, cool. Missing Tom. Cool. All right, just let's go with you two guys then. How you doing? Paul, how you been, brother? And I always thank you for your time, brother. The great Paul Wertico. How you doing, Mark? Mark, what's going on in your world these days?
Just getting ready for the big release, June 9th. You know, I sent it to you. You know what's coming down.
Pumped up, brother. It sounds tremendous. Sounds great.
It's going to be interesting. You know, the thing that scares me the most is having the meeting with the labels where they say they're committed to it, you know, for my 9 months to a year. And I said, could I get that in writing?
Well,
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're pumped, but yeah, I thank you for your guys' time. I like to get to the roundtable discussion if we can. You know, we've all been playing. Next month, I'll be playing 40 years. You guys just as long or as longer. And we always bring up that same question. Do you still practice? Is there still practice in your regimen? Is practice still something we do? Mark Zonder, a world-class drummer in the metal genre for 40 years, 35, 40 years now, still going and creating great music. Is there still time for practice? Is practice still in that thought process for a great drummer like Mark Zonder?
Well, thanks for the comment. I mean, the nice words.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's changed. You know, I used to sit in a sweaty old shed and just play double bass for hours, and it was more of like a track meet. Now it's more of taking the creative part of things. It's like just sit down and set up a tempo, just put the tempo on, and just let it kind of go and flow. And then when you take that, I guess you could call it practice, but I don't sit down and play paradiddles all day long. I don't sit down and do. I'm not working out of any books, even though I've ripped off Garibaldi's book like nobody's business, but that's a different story. It's more in, you know, as everybody kind of knows, when you get to a certain point, it's almost the more you know, the less you know, but you have the physical dexterity. You've been doing it so long, the muscle memory is so high that you can, hopefully what's up here just comes out in the hands, and then you can break it down and change it and manipulate it. So it's not really practice, but playing a lot is the important thing, I think. Playing.
Right. Now, is also practice these days can be, working on new ideas, new parts, trying to get things to come into fruition. Is that the kind of practice we could be doing also?
Oh, absolutely. That's the only way creatively you can take it way out. I'm not that guy, and there are guys out there like it. I can't just sit down and blaze it off the top of my head. I'll go back to all my old stuff that I feel comfortable with. But if I want to take it further,
Right.
I have to, one E and hold on, one E, and really break it down,
Right. Right.
or I'll never get there. Once I get it, I'm good. And then hopefully, as you know, and everybody knows that's at a certain level, then it starts opening up. Oh, what if I put this hand on the rack tom instead of the snare on this head? And what happens if I, make them 16ths instead of eighths? And it just, it's actually technically more mental at that point. But yeah, that's where I like to go and where I like to play and really stretch it.
Oh, great stuff from the great Mark Zonda. When I think of creativity, and guys, I never bullshit. I always keep it real. I think of a creative drummer, and somebody that comes to my mind who would literally, if he had to go play in the street on a garbage can, it's the great Paul Wertico. He's always done that in his career. He's created, he's evolved, and he's a big inspiration to so many of us. Paul Wertico, thank you for your time, brother. Tell me about, because a guy like you, I'm just thinking to myself, I mean, practice. What is practice? Like the old Allen Iverson part. Allen Iverson. Remember Allen Iverson? Practice? What's practice?
Practice.
But does Paul Wertico? I know you're so creative, and I watch you just play a conga or occasion for an hour. You'll go out to the audience and play on the stage. Talk to me about practices and if that's still relevant in Paul Wertico's world. Right. Right. Mm. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, both of you have just personified a word to me today that it just shows off. You guys are lifers. I'm not. There's no bullshit. You're lifers. It's in your blood. It's in your DNA. What you just said, Paul. 69 years old, and you're still just like it's something new. And even Mark, talking about the new album, and it's just great to see world class drummers still trying to get better in any way you could. You know what I'm saying, Mark?
No, absolutely. I mean, I definitely wake up every morning thinking I'm 19 years old,
Yeah.
wanting to be a rock star and chasing the dream. There's no question. I'm still waking up with patterns in my head. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm thinking, okay, how's that go? And my wife's like slapping me, like, what are you doing, waking everybody up? But no, absolutely. Again, I think it really breaks down to there's people that are fortunate enough, and I tell my kids this, when you find your passion, to me, and I don't mean to get deep here, but that's kind of like a God-given gift, okay? Because I know plenty of people that are overly talented in a million things, but nothing turns them on. Nothing fires that passion. You know, a very, very, very early drum teacher told me, and I had no idea what he's talking about because I was 9 or 7 or whatever. Basically, if you could say to yourself, hey, put me on the desert island with drums and food and whatever, and you'd be happy just playing, not worrying about money, girls, fame, and blah, 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 then you're in the right, then you know you're going down the right thing. If you're worried about the money, the fame, and the girls and all that kind of crap, you know, you maybe make it to 30, you know, that kind of thing. You know.
Tom Brechtlein, what do you got coming up in the near future, brother? I'm sorry, Paul Wertico. What do you got coming up in the near future? Yeah. Right. Great. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, yes, I want to say that we are very fortunate tonight on Around the Kids Verse video live stream show to have both of you. I want to say thank you to the great Mark Zonder, waiting for the new album. Good luck, Paul Wertico, with everything that's going on. We say thank you to Mark Zonder and Paul Wertico. Guys, thank you so much, man.
My pleasure. Hey, Joe, you do me one favor?
Absolutely.
You'll be talking to Dave Garibaldi later.
Okay.
Tell him thank you very much. Tell him thank you very much. He changed my playing. Without a doubt.
I will tell him that.
Absolutely. Okie doke.
Thanks, guys. I will. Thanks, Paul.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Guys, we were just blessed already. Live show. We're going live today. It's our first show, so we're working things out. Let's get to that sponsor from our main sponsor right now, Centent Cymbals. Around the Kid is sponsored by Centent Cymbals. Centent Cymbals is quickly becoming the choice for drummers worldwide. With their roots going back to the emperors of the Qing dynasty, Centent blends the best of old world know-how with modern techniques to help all drummers find the best fit for them. Whether you're an avid drumming enthusiast or touring professional, Centent has the perfect combination of products, pricing, and service to fit any drummer's needs. Contact them today to find out what the drum love is really all about. Centent Cymbals. Forge your sound. Guys, we are back on this brand new format from us, the Around the Kid video live stream. Let's get to our first guest, but before that, let's play a really cool piece from this world-class drummer. Here's a great video from the tremendous Guys, we are back. Just a tremendous video there. I've done interviews for the last 7 years, and this guy, I always say, his first interview is so special to me. We had a great conversation. He's been on the show many times, but the format today has changed. I want to bring on just a tremendous talent in the world of drumming, the great Matt Halpern. What is up, my brother?
What's up, Joe? Good to see you, man.
How you doing, man? We get to finally do this face to face.
I know, it's great. It's great.
Guys, the tremendous, and I say that, brother, with passion and integrity, the tremendous Matt Halpern. Thank you, man.
How's it going?
It's going great. We just we got some kinks working out. It's our first show.
It's the first one, right?
Yeah, it's our first show.
Yeah.
We're working the kinks out, but we're live. Now we're going to go with it. Matt Halpern, let's get to it, brother. I got so much to get to you. I mean, you've been so busy with so many things. Let's talk about you at this point of your life and career, brother, and what differences there are, and especially since the birth of your beautiful son, Benno.
Thank you. Yeah, man, it's been wild. You know what I mean? It's been great because I've been home from tour, which has been awesome. And frankly, I'm grateful for what this pandemic has afforded me with that time at home to be here for over a year with him and like have time for all that formidable time. So it's been great. And I still am playing. I'm still practicing, still writing with the band. I'm gearing up now over the next month and a half to almost 2 months to start recording drums for the new record. So I'll be recording in the UK in August. So we're gearing up, and it's been great. I've had a nice little hiatus to raise my boy for a bit, and now it's time to go and get back to business. So it's good, man. Life is good.
Is it 3 a.m. getting up with the diapers, or does your beautiful wife take care of that? What's going on there?
No, man, we started early with sleep training, and we actually took a course on it, and some people do, some people don't. I was really open to the idea just so that we could actually have a kid that slept through the night and was eating well. So for a long time, actually, he's been sleeping through the night. So we're lucky. Yeah, and he's over a year old now. So I mean, he'll go down and goes down at 8 o'clock, and he wakes up at 8 o'clock. So we're really lucky. It's good.
My daughter is now 15, and she was not colicky at all. I have 3 sisters. My oldest sister, Andrea, she had to put her son to bed, Matt Halpern. They had to use a vacuum cleaner. The vacuum cleaner noise would help her put the baby to sleep.
Yeah.
And my
Crazy.
daughter Samantha Ryan was just, she never got colicky. I guess everybody's different, but we are just live with the great Matt Halpern. Oh, tremendous stuff, brother. I watch you, and you always have that same look. You're always in the zone. Is it important for you to always apply the same intensity every single time, Matt Halpern, you hold 2 sticks in your hand?
I think it just happens that way because I enjoy the instrument, right?
Yeah.
We love, if you play the drums because you love it, it
Right.
comes out. So I think that's just me. Like that's just how it shows with me. I don't feel like when I'm playing that it looks the way that it does or it comes across that way. I just think I'm playing the parts. It is what it is. And that the track that you just played, there were a couple sections in that song that in my mind, it's like, all right, everything, it's like with any song, it's like,
Right.
There's parts that you don't have to think about. And then there's parts that you really need to, like the whole focus is there, and it can be little things. So when I watch that performance, I look very into it and I look very like just it's flowing out of me. But in my mind, I know that I'm thinking about these 2 little splash cymbal hits, towards the end of the song, and I got to hit this backbeat or this displacement, and that's where my head is the whole time, even though it might not look like it. So I don't know, man. It's just me. It's just how I play, I guess. But look, I love it. I enjoy it. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, but isn't that great how you're playing something and you're worried about these 2 splash cymbals or this? I think that's great for the thought process as drummers. If we're playing a year or if we're playing 50 years, I think to have that integrity as a drummer inside is special at times.
Well, because for me, I want to make sure that I'm playing the parts the way that they deserve to be played, right, for the song.
Sure.
And there's certain parts of any song that you can have a little bit more flexibility with. And then there's other things that just, to me, it's like, this is how you got to play them. And I want to have that integrity, and I want to have that consistency with it. So it's like those sections that, like, they got to be right. They got to be right, you know?
You mentioned a big word there, Matt Halpern, consistency. I'm not sure, even in life, I think if we're more consistent with everything we do, I think everything else will sometimes fall into fruition, as you may.
I'm all about routines.
Yeah.
You know, I have my routines, and I function better within the context of a routine.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think obviously a routine is based off of some sort of consistency. Even if you change up the items in the routine, having that consistent,
right,
schedule, time frames, targets to hit, it's really important. You know, for me, it helps me push forward in life, on the drums, or whatever it may be. As I'm thinking about, I've been in my mind mapping out what's my rehearsal schedule going to be like for this new album, for these new songs, because we've written everything. I know the parts in my head. Now I got to actually execute, because we've talked about this before. I think we'll program the parts first, and I get them memorized that way, and then I got to really have to teach myself the parts that I programmed. So I'm thinking about, well, what's my schedule going to be like? How is my life going to change to fit in the time necessary to practice? And it's all about just setting up, having the routine, fitting it in, and then being consistent day to day to day. That's how I'm going to get really good with these songs, because for a lot of drummers, when they're learning new material, it can be overwhelming, right? And I'm trying to give myself enough time and be consistent every day to where I don't have to stress. I know that over the next 2 months, I'm going to put in the work. I'll have plenty of time. I don't need to do hours and hours every day. I just have to do maybe an hour each day instead of 5 hours every day. You know what I mean? It's
Sure.
So when I think about consistency, when I think about routine, I think about how am I applying it to drumming? And that's right now very much so on my mind,
Guys, we are joined today by the great Matt Halpern. Always love interacting with him. One of my favorite guests, and I've told him that just tremendous stuff, and we're lucky to have him today. And we thank him for this time on this holiday.
Dude, I always love your energy too. It's awesome. I love it.
Thank you, brother. Oh man, just back at you. Now that you're a dad, oh my God, Matt Halpern's a dad. Woof, Joe Gans is a dad.
Oh yeah, and bald dads, man.
Bald dads.
Yeah.
And being in a professional band, a professional touring band, how have you come to terms, brother, that maybe you might not be there for a certain wedding? Maybe God forbid, Benno's birthday, or an occasion, a family now, a full-time family, and business. How do you juggle that, and how have you come to terms with, I might just miss things?
I've dealt with the might just miss things for a long time, and it's been, it's just been kind of run of the mill. When I met my wife, I said, hey, this is the way my life is, and I'm going to miss stuff, and that's that. I think this was the first Valentine's Day we've ever been together. It's recently, over the last little bit of time with the pandemic, but I'm used to it. The thing is, you're right. I mean, now that I have a son, there's a whole different level of weight and heaviness to it. And I don't know if I'll be as flexible as I was with other things. I don't mind missing certain events, holidays, things like that when it comes to my family and adults. My wife even, she gets it. It's easy to explain. But when my son has his second birthday, or when my son reaches certain milestones, or whatever it may be, the holidays, it's kind of it's going to be hard for me to negotiate and navigate those things. And frankly, I'm very lucky, very lucky to be in a band that has some ability to be flexible. I keep using that word, but it's it's the best word for it.
Yeah.
I just I'm planning to set those days aside, and if we have to miss a show, or if I have to miss a show, we'll figure it out. But I don't want to miss those things. I don't want to miss the birthdays. I don't want to miss the important days of my son's life, because especially now that he's young, he doesn't understand why wouldn't I be there, So, and it's really important to me. So I don't know. I to answer your question, I don't know how I'm going to balance it now that I have a son because we haven't toured yet since I've had a son. So once we get a tour schedule, once I look at the dates, then it'll kind of be like, which battles can I fight versus which ones can I deal with, I guess is the point.
And what do you do to sort of manifest, the differences? I'm a dad. I'm a professional drummer. Has that come into fruition at all, or are you always the same Matt Halpern all the time?
I think I mean I try to be the same. Certainly, having a child changes you for the better,
Yeah.
and you become a lot more selfless, I think. So in that sense, there's good and bad to that, right? At the core, I'm me, right?
Sure.
I'm definitely over the last couple of years way more of a dad and a businessman than I have been a drummer, just by nature of what the world's been like and what we've been doing within the context of this new world. But I am about to shift back into more of a drumming kind of title per se.
Yes. Yeah.
But at the core, I feel like I'm still very much, me. And again, it's like with everything, you got to navigate those challenges and figure out how you're going to tackle them as a human, because they are very much like human feelings that we're dealing with when we're talking about being away and missing milestones and events and things like that when it comes to having a kid. And look, there's plenty of guys that you've talked to, plenty of times, I'm sure, who are a lot more savvy with this topic than I am, who have experienced it, have had kids and been on the road and have done it a lot. I'm just new to it, so I'm going to try my best to stay grounded and stay myself and keep my values intact when it comes to what I need to be home for versus what I can not be home for. But it's going to be interesting. I think my wife is definitely kind of sitting on the sidelines too, wondering like how that's going to play out. So we'll see. We'll definitely see.
When do you think we'll get to see his first paradiddle?
Oh man, so he loves picking up the sticks now, even and hitting stuff, and like he dances, he's got rhythm, he loves music. So I'm hoping that as soon as he can control it, I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna give him some sticks and really let him try to play around and show him like, hey, you don't just bang around kind of all over the place. There's some structure to this. Let's try it. So, but man, he's definitely inclined to music so far, or at least he's going to be a fan of music. So that's okay too.
Well, he's got a great mentor in you, brother. Just great
I'll
stuff.
try.
Oh,
I'll
man,
try,
good
my
stuff.
man.
How has it been since the switch to Pearl several years ago? All I play is Pearl. I have 13 drum sets. They're all Pearl. My whole room is full of Pearl, so I'm a Pearl guy. Talk to me about the relationship. And I think that's a word we don't use enough as far as our sponsors, as the cymbal company or the drum company. How has that relationship and that connection and that marriage, if you will, with Pearl been?
It's been really good. It's been really good. I feel very supported. I feel very understood. I mean, from day one when I started working with them, I said I really want to get involved with, education. I really, want to carry on this this legacy with a signature snare drum. And they've been supportive of both initiatives. And, we released the snare drum last year. It's been doing great. So they've followed through with what they wanted to promise me, and I've done my best, I hope, to follow through as somebody who's representing them. My direct rep there, John, is awesome, and we have a great relationship. We don't get to hang out very often because we're both very busy, but we took some trips earlier this year, or actually last year. Played PASIC, which was great. I performed at PASIC for the second time, and John was with me there. And we spent time right before PASIC at Sweetwater shooting some content. So he and I really got some time on the road together, driving through the Midwest. eating lots of different food.
great.
He's a foodie. I'm a foodie. He loves going to like cool restaurants and trying new stuff. So we had a blast in terms of that. So the personal relationship is really there for sure with the person who I interact with the most. And I think because it is so genuine and there is a really good connection there, it helps me to feel connected to the company as well. And then just about 2 months ago, I was down in Nashville at Pearl. I was shooting some content with them, and I got to hang out with Mike Ferris. I got to meet a whole bunch of the other people that work there. And the culture is just awesome. I mean, it's great. It's what I wanted. And look, like you, I've always had a soft spot for Pearl. I started on Pearl drums when I was a kid, so it's always been near and dear to me. And now to officially, to be amongst the ranks of the drummers that are fortunate enough to play that brand, let alone to be amongst the ranks of the drummers that have been fortunate enough to have a snare drum with their name on it with Pearl, I don't take it for granted. And I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. But brother, that's a lot. It has to do with you and the hard work that you convey also.
Yeah, but of course, but it's also it's very much that symbiotic relationship and look, it's funny, I attribute everything that I learned about the industry side of things in terms of like that relationship that you're talking about. I've had great mentors. Yeah. Right. So I learned so much from Joe Hibbs when I was at Mapex. He took me under his wing. He passed away, but before he passed, he passed on as much information as he could to me about how this industry works, how to be a good artist, how to treat the company, how to work, to your point, work hard to be somebody that is supportive in order to get support as well. Working with Chris Brewer at Meola Cymbals, he's another great mentor for the industry. And I think I had a conversation the other day with another drummer buddy of mine who plays in a popular band. He's not as involved in the industry side of things. He's more so just a player to some degree, but he wants to be more involved. And I was talking a lot about this, that if you want to be more involved, no company is just going to come to you out of the blue and be like, even if you're working with a company, like mine wouldn't come to me and be like, hey, let's do stuff. It's my job as the artist to reach out and say, I'm here, I'm ready to work, I want to help. Where can I fit into this? What can I do for education? How can I help promote your cymbals? How can I help promote your drums? What do you need from me as the artist? Where do I fit into the picture? Let me know and I'll be there. So I've always taken that position of, hey, I'm here to work. Whatever you need, I'll be ready. I'll be prepared. You're supporting me. I want to let you know that I'll support you. And that's how opportunities arise. That's how you do it. You're not just going to get those opportunities when they're, because if I didn't do it, there'd be another drummer saying the same thing, and they're going to get those opportunities because they're making themselves available for it. That's how it works.
Yeah, and you bring up, I don't want to get too much into sponsor aspect, but we had shows where we had round tables and guys talking about sponsors. I've had friends of mine who go, oh, I'm going to send 5 resumes out to drum companies. And I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, I want to get the best deal. What do you mean the best deal? I think you have to play what you like in a way. They think that they're just going to get signed to a deal, and you got to work for them. They got to work. It's both parties helping each other.
It is, and you really should, for people that are curious. How do you get a deal, and is a deal better than playing the products you love? No, not necessarily. The key should be play what you're passionate about playing. And let that passion for it really shine through your performance, through how you speak about what you play publicly. It's a lot easier for people to get who don't have any kind of sponsorship. It says a lot when, for me, if I had a Pearl drum kit because I love Pearl, And I reached out to John at Pearl and I said, hey man, I love Pearl. I love Pearl so much that I've purchased X amount of Pearl kits and I play Pearl and I promote Pearl. Even though I don't have a deal with you, I'm already a Pearl guy.
Right.
That says so much to the brand
Sure.
of my loyalty, right? And where my heart lies. I'm not just looking for a deal. Yeah. I'm passionate about this particular brand, this product, this culture. And I think that really is important. So it's not something that you should be flippant with or like just take take for granted, I guess is the way to put it. It's very important.
Great words by a great dad, father, and just great stuff by the great Matt Halpern. Just great stuff, man. I always love when you come on, man. There's like this aura that comes about me. I get pumped up and I just love it, man. I always say thank you so much. It's great stuff.
Of course, likewise, man.
Yeah.
I think you do it to me.
You've always been into fitness. I mean, for a long time, and understanding that drumming is grueling. I mean, it is grueling. Even as we get older, I'm having problems now with my legs and my calves and my thighs. I just turned 53 last week, so I'm getting, it's coming into a lot of play with me, injuries and aches, and what we do as drummers needs that attention with fitness, Matt Halpern. Talk to me about the pandemic as it was and as sometimes it still is, and especially the Wim Hof method of breathing, along with your ice baths and the outside sauna, and how it's all become a staple in your health routine, brother.
It's at the core of it, honestly. I mean, look, health is wealth, right? That's what they say. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. I love this analogy, or not even an analogy, but there's a guy that I follow who, very wealthy guy. He's also a big fitness nut, and he talks about how you could be a billionaire on a yacht, all the food in the world, everything you want around you, everything's great on the outside, but if you got a sore throat, all you're going to be thinking about is your sore throat. You can't enjoy any of it because you feel sick. Mm-hmm. So none of that other stuff matters if you don't have your health, right? That's at the core. That's everything. So for me, especially with the pandemic, and I think a lot of us kind of, depending on who you are, for me, I was like, what is this thing? I don't know what's happening. I can't control the virus, but I can control my health. I can control my immune system. So what can I do? And frankly, excuse me, I got into the Wim Hof method because I was looking for a way to cope with anxiety and the uncertainty of what was going on. And obviously breath work was a very important thing for that, breathing and meditation. So I got into that. And through that, I learned about the ice baths. I'd always been aware of the benefits of the sauna and used it at the gym, but I never fully invested in it. So again, around the time of the pandemic, we were about to move house, and I knew that at my new house, I wanted to have a sauna because I wasn't going to go to the gym with the pandemic. I wanted to have an ice plunge because nobody really has, or not a lot of, can't really find it in a lot of places. So I needed to have my own. And I was a huge fan of what Wim Hof was teaching.
Right.
And I just invested a lot of time into it. And, now it's become something that I work into my daily routine, one way or another. If I'm not taking a cold plunge, I'm taking a cold shower. I'm usually in the sauna, every day, if not at least 4 or 5 days a week. Excuse me. With daycare, they bring home coughs and runny noses, so you can't help that stuff. But for the most part, it's become something that I really try to keep up. And even when I travel, so like if I fly to a different place, typically I always try to fly in a day early for whatever I'm doing. And whatever city I'm in, I'll try to find a sauna, and somewhere that has a sauna studio, or I'll find like a spa that has a sauna, and I'll go use it just to sweat out the toxins and to sweat out all the germs from the plane, and just be optimal for whatever I got to do. So it's a big part of my routine.
Yeah, and people, because I know all about you and these ice baths. People think that you just go and jump in an ice bath. They don't know that you had to start with 30 seconds and build up to 10 minutes, right?
Yeah. Part of that course that,
Right.
the Wim Hof. So I early on in the pandemic, I did this 10-week course that Wim Hof offers on his website. And yeah, you go through it. I mean, you start off, and the first week it's 30 seconds in the cold shower, and then it's a minute, and then it's a minute and a half, and then you slowly build up. And yeah, you don't really get to graduate, so to speak, to the cold plunge until you can actually take a cold shower for 10 minutes.
Sure.
So I did a lot of that stuff, and what's funny is I would put on songs, because I wouldn't take my phone in the shower or a timer in the shower. So I would find songs from bands like Dream Theater, as an example, or even my band at the time, and I would put on 10, 12-minute songs, and I know where the 10-minute mark was, so that would be my cue to get out, basically. But yeah, that's what I would do, and it helped a lot too with the focus of having music and being able to like bob your head and sing along to it. It kept the focus away from sometimes how cold it was at first, to help you get past the initial hurdles of the cold shower.
Because I mean, I've been watching you for a couple of years now, just in those ice baths, and I'm saying, what? And I love the cold weather. I'm from New York. I love the cold weather. I'm not a big beach guy. My fiance Rachel, she loves the beach. I'm not a big beach guy, but I love the cold weather. But those ice baths, just whew, God bless you,
chill you in the bone, man. But you know what? We were just at a barbecue with some friends, and I was talking to my friends' parents about it. They were asking me about it too. And I was, they were saying, look, we don't like the cold. And I said, look, nobody really likes the cold. I don't like the cold. Nobody, wants to do that unless you're Wim Hof. But you build like anything. It's like people who run marathons. Like, I don't have any interest in running a marathon, but if you talk to someone who does it, oftentimes it's the challenge of doing it. It's this, surmountable challenge in front of you that you have to conquer. And for me, the ice bath is a similar thing. If you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, like getting in cold water, many times a week, then maybe the ability to be in an uncomfortable situation gets a little easier the more you do it. And I think that for me, that was the reason why I wanted to really get into it, because I was anxious, and I still experience anxiety from different things. So the ice baths help me as a hurdle daily that I have to get over, because it is uncomfortable, and it's not necessarily something that's enjoyable all the time, especially when it's 30 degrees outside and I'm getting in my tub with snow on the ground. It's not as fun.
Have you noticed, brother, since these ice baths have come into play in a couple of years, have you noticed, I can just imagine with the joints and the limbs, anything, does your body feel different? I mean, playing wise after these past couple of years?
Yeah, I feel good, man. Like, my body is holding up, pretty well. I find that if I stay consistent with lifting weights, doing the recovery sessions in the sauna and in the ice bath, they really do help me stay at an optimal place. I've found over the past couple of years things that work and things that don't. Like, I do like to run, but it's not very good for my knees. It's not very good for my hips, my joints.
Right.
So I try to hone in on like what exercises are going to be right for my body for drumming, because certain things aren't going to work. Lifting too heavy. It's funny, man. I lifted, was doing some pulls recently, and I strained my forearms, the muscles, and I was out for like a week. Couldn't play because of how much I strained my forearms, because I just never really worked those muscles on purpose, because I don't want to ever be taxed that way. It's funny. People ask me to, like, my friends, they'll be like, hey, we're going bowling. I don't bowl, because anytime I've bowled in the past, these muscles in here get strained just from that motion, and then I can't play drums as well. So I definitely need to continue to try to figure out what works and what doesn't, so that I can stay optimal at the instrument.
Yeah. Great stuff, brother, as always.
Yeah, man.
You seem so grounded in this point in your life. Even from our first interview back in 2016, you're different, brother. You're very in tune with yourself. Um, who is Matt Halpern as we sit here in 2022?
That's a great question. I really just want to be a good person. I want to be a good friend. I want to be a really good husband. I want to be a good son. I want to be a good father. To do those things, I have to be true to myself. To do those things, I have to be good to myself. I have to take care of myself. I have to find the things that are challenging in my life that are causing me stress, things like that. And I have to get good at those things so that I can be good for the people around me. So I think if I'm anybody, I'm a student. Right now, I'm very much a student because I'm trying to learn how to be better in every relationship I have with the things that are most important to me.
Well, I'm sitting here, and again, you always bring it, and I'm saying to myself, this guy is the perpetual student, not only in drumming. I ask you if somebody told you to read this book, and they told you the last chapter of the book, I bet you would say no. I want to read the whole thing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's who you are. You're a perpetual.
Yeah.
Everything you do, there's a routine, and I love that, brother. And it comes out in you. You convey that. You convey that persona that I'm serious about everything I do, and that's just great to have.
It's a blessing and a curse, right?
Yeah,
Because I do get very invested in things
yeah.
and I
It's too much. Yeah.
obsess over things. And that ability is, it's good for good things and it's bad for bad things. But that's what I'm working on.
Oh man, just great stuff. I got a couple more, brother, and I thank you for this time on this holiday weekend.
Of
Uh,
course, man.
thank you so much. You know, um, your grandfather was a great entrepreneur and businessman,
Yep.
as well as a direct inspiration on you. What was the biggest life lesson you learned from him?
Um, it was, I think trust was a big one because of what he did with me. I went to him at a point and I said, I want to leave school, like university, to go be a drummer. And he gave me the blessing to do that because he trusted me. So I think when it's time for me to have conversations like that with my son and maybe one day with my grandkids, it's that ability to trust in conviction. And I think that's something that he really taught to me. It was that, and the other thing that I'll never forget is that he said to me, "Charity starts at home." And I think that that's um, a really good thing because if you can take care of yourself, then again, you're able to take care of others. But if you can't take care of yourself, it's going to be really hard to take care of others. So do the best for you so that you can be the best for others. So I think it's both of those things.
Yeah, brother. And your first interview, if I recall, you got a little emotional that day. That day, it was the interview. We talked about your mother, and I think you've had a great supporting cast in your life. I mean,
Yeah.
I always say to myself, we look back, and a lot of what we do in life starts in our childhood. It's just a fact. And
Yeah.
you've had these great, monumental at times figures in your life. Your grandfather. We talked about your mother, and what they've done to you is they said, Matt, we're giving it to you. Now give it to your family, and especially Benno.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's great stuff, man. Great stuff.
Yeah, man.
What is the main ingredient in life you always want to convey to Benno?
I think there's a lot there. But I think if anything, it's just be yourself, be who you are. And it's cool, man, because he is one very decisive kid. Like he knows who he is already. He knows who he wants. So I think for me, it's just nurturing that and letting him know that it's okay to do whatever he wants to do. He doesn't need to follow in my footsteps if he doesn't want to. But if he does want to, then of course I'll be there for him. But just like you said, I had great support from people in
Yeah.
my life. So for me, I just want to be supportive of whatever he wants to do. And I'll back it 100%. And I want him to know that whatever direction he goes in, he'll have people like me in his corner, there to help and whatever I need to do. So I think it's that. It's just, be who you are and embrace who you are and be kind to yourself and be okay with who you are and don't stress, don't worry, don't spend time doing what I've done, which is being anxious when you don't need to be, overthinking things, overanalyzing things. It's not it's not good for you. It doesn't push you forward. So just, I think, chill out a little bit more, be okay with who you are, be okay with where you are on your life timeline, and just be present. It's the same thing that we all want, but I definitely want to make sure that's conveyed.
Well, just great supporting cast. I got one more, brother, and thank you for your time.
Yeah.
I always want to ask this question because, we've both been playing a long time. And it's more of a psychological question. Do you play the drums or the drums play you?
I think it's both. I think it's both. I had to learn how to hit them the right way, but I only did that because they pulled me in. So it doesn't work without the other, right? It's the yin and the yang. It's that symbiotic relationship between the instrument because I can't play drums without the drums, and they can't make the sounds they make and affect the people they do and convey the energy they do without me. So it's one and the same, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. There's times where, we are both so busy in our lives, and I know you got so much going on. To me, my favorite seat in the whole wide world is when I'm sitting behind the set. There could be so much going on. I just feel so relaxed and in tune with myself. And I see that it's most likely the same with you because when we all watch you play, you just bring out so much intensity. Sometimes you're smiling and you're in total command. I love when somebody in life, whatever they do, whatever career they're doing, when they're in total command. And you, Matt Halpern, are always in total command. I thank you, brother, for another great interview. What do you got coming up in everything in education with Benno and especially Periphery?
Sure. Honestly, right now, man, my focus is just on this new record.
Yeah.
I don't know when it won't be out for a little bit, but I'm going to be recording my drum parts in the UK in August, and that is I'm about to put on my blinders, and that's going to be the focus for the next 2 months. So as soon as June hits, that's it. And it's right around the corner. So that's what I got, man. That's the focus. So yeah, just for anybody watching, listening, we got a lot of new music coming. Really hard, really challenging drum parts that I got to master. So it's fun stuff though. So it'll be cool. So yeah, that's really it, man. We're just about to get back in gear and get back on the move.
Thank you, brother. We get to be face to face. And I always want to say, Matt, I got to keep it real. Thank you for the past 6 years. You've always been so kind to me. Hopefully one day we could have a beer and hang out and come say hi to each other. But I want to say thank you from all of us around the kid. You've always kept it real and means so much to us, man.
Amen, man. Yeah, anytime. Always happy to be on. I always appreciate the support as well. So whatever you need, man. Anytime. Guys, I love it.
The world-class Matt Halpern. Matt, have a great night, a great weekend. We'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you, Joe. Best wishes, man.
All right. Have a great night.
You too.
Guys, we just I got goosebumps because I've learned to, when I'm talking to Matt Halpern, it's a little different. I got to be honest than all the other guests. Is he the best guest ever? I don't want to say who's better, but there's something there. There's a connection there. There's a connection with me and Matt, and just to see him today and great, and to see what he's become over the last 6 years. Our first interview, he got emotional, and he had, he was crying a little bit, but not that. Just very emotional about certain things, and it was very real to see. And I always thank him for his time. So we say thank you for our first interview on the video live stream with Matt Halpern. Guys, if you'd be so kind enough to hit that like and subscribe button, we'd appreciate it. And most of all, that notification bell to keep you updated on everything we do around the kid. We had some problems in the beginning, so I want to take the time to go back to the beginning a little bit if we can. You know, this is a live show, and talk about the team we have with us. And I'm always honored that people want to get involved. You want to get involved around the kid, hit me up. We'll do it. But we're just happy to have back. She did a segment for us years ago. We had a little, not disagreement, you know, we had a little falling out. That happens in life. Was she wrong? Was I wrong? It's not about that. All I know is about a month ago, I contacted her, and she's back with her This Week in Drumming segment. The lovely and talented Laura Pepe Altieri is back with us. And I'm just so, I love her thought process and everything she does. Her conviction and intuition in her segment is so professional, and she's great at it. So we say thank you to Laura. And a guy who's back again, who is has done so much for me. How do I love somebody? How do I love somebody who I never met? And Doug Meola has given me over 100 behind the kit segments. He's back for a different new segment. We're going to spotlight tonight. It's called the Spotlight Drummer with Doug Meola. And I just can't thank him enough. We have a great team, but as I say, none of this happens. You do not see me live tonight without the guidance, without the guy at the helm. Really, the tremendous world-class drummer, producer, director, guy who yells at me, and I say, yes, John, the great producer, and John Besser.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, brother?
Going crazy.
It's our first show, man. We're going good.
Almost. We're almost there.
We had some problems in the beginning, but that's cool. The great producer and John Besser. Thank you, brother.
See you later, guys.
Really cool stuff. So we got a great team around us, and I can never do it by myself. So I say thank you. Let's get to that segment from the great Doug Meola now, and he just always knocks it out of the park. It's our brand new segment called the Spotlight Drummer.
All right, we are back once again with another amazing night of all things drummers, drums, and drumming. Hello, everyone. This is Doug Meola, and I'm happy to be back with something brand new for you. After many years of my Behind the Kit segment on Around the Kit Drum Talk Radio, I'm excited to be bringing you the Around the Kit Spotlight Drummer series, in which we will be diving into and highlighting the lives and careers of drummers of all eras, levels, and genres. Tonight's Spotlight drummer is Randy Castillo. Born Randolfo Francisco Castillo, Randy was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico on December 18th, 1950. Randy was a mixed-race Apache Native American and had 4 sisters. As a teenager, he was inspired to take up drumming after seeing the Beatles perform on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1964. Randy's first rock band in Albuquerque was a hard rock cover band called the Wombleys. Randy and his band later moved to Denver, Colorado before disbanding in 1980. Randy continued to pursue playing with bands, and in 1984 he was hired to play drums for Lita Ford and was featured on her Dancin' on the Edge album. Lita introduced Randy to her then boyfriend, Motley Crue bassist Nikki Sixx, and Nikki's bandmate and drummer Tommy Lee. Shortly after the Dancin' on the Edge tour was completed, Tommy Lee called Castillo from a party that he was attending with Ozzy Osbourne and told him that Ozzy was looking for a new drummer. Despite being unable to audition right away due to a broken leg that he had suffered while skiing, Randy was hired by Osbourne a couple months later to play on the Ultimate Sin record that was released in 1986. Randy continued to be a staple in Ozzy's band for 10 years, recording 5 albums with Ozzy during that time, including No Rest for the Wicked, Just Say Ozzy, No More Tears, and a double-disc live album, Live and Loud. After recording Ozzy's live album in 1993, Randy joined the short-lived Bone Angels, followed by a band called Red Square Black. Randy briefly returned to Osborne's band in 1995 for a tour and played drums on several tribute albums during this time. He played with Ronnie James Dio on a cover of Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare for an Alice Cooper tribute album, and performed all drumming duties on a star-studded Def Leppard tribute album titled Leopard Mania. In 1999, after Tommy Lee had left Motley Crue, Sharon Osbourne called Randy and suggested that he join the band, which he did without an audition. Randy had previously played with Vince Neil as a touring drummer for the Vince Neil Band and was an old friend of Motley Crue's. His only recording with the band was 2000's New Tattoo, which was somewhat of a return to the classic Motley Crue sound. Fan reaction to the band's new album and lineup was mixed, and the album was not as successful as the band was hoping it would be. Still, there was excitement over the upcoming tour due to the revival and interest of many of the 80s hard rock acts, and the band geared up for their Maximum Rock tour with thrash metal legends Anthrax and Megadeth. Several weeks before Motley Crue was set to tour for the New Tattoo album, joining Megadeth and Anthrax on the Maximum Rock tour, Randy became ill while performing with his mariachi side project called Azul at the Cat Club in Hollywood. Immediately after the show, Randy took a cab to nearby Cedars-Sinai Hospital, where he collapsed as he was being admitted. The doctors discovered an ulcer that had ruptured in his stomach and performed emergency surgery that saved Randy's life. With Randy being out of action, Hole drummer Samantha Maloney filled in for the Motley Crue tour. In October 2000, while taking time off from Motley Crue to recover from his surgery, Randy discovered a small lump on his jaw, and a month later, after it had grown to roughly the size of a golf ball, he sought treatment and was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma, a common form of cancer that is not usually fatal if it is discovered early, but can spread rapidly if left untreated. The cancer went into remission in mid-2001. Sadly, within a few months, the cancer returned, and a few days after returning to the doctors, Randy died on March 26, 2002, at the age of 51. I had the pleasure of seeing Randy perform live several times. He was always super solid, flashy, and inspiring to watch. His presence in the drumming and music communities continues to be missed, and we will continue to celebrate him and the contributions that he has made to the rock and metal music communities. Rest in peace, Randy. We miss you.
Guys, we are live with a great segment, the Spotlight Drummer with Doug Meola, and we thank Doug. God, he's been a part of the show since 2016. Just tremendous stuff. First show and video live stream. If you'd be so kind to hit that like and subscribe button, and especially that notification bell that keeps us notified, on these great shows that we're trying to bring you, and you'll be notified. It's just always a pleasure to come to you live tonight on the video live stream. We got some cool shows coming up. If we can get to that, maybe. We got great shows. We'll get to that later on the calendar. Let's get to our next guest. But if we can, let's play a little clip, first of all, of the great David Garibaldi. Tremendous stuff there. What pocket playing? As always, just a legend in the world of drumming. We say, welcome back to the great David Garibaldi. David, what's up, brother?
Thank you, Joe. Just, enjoying a nice weekend here at home. It's good, kind of in between events, Tower of Power events, and it's nice.
First of all, brother, thank you for coming on the show several years ago. And I just always like to thank my guests. It's important that I connect with them on and off the air, but we're on the air now, and I say thank you for this time, David.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Have you got any update on a good friend of ours, Dom Famularo? I think he was doing better after the surgery.
Yeah, he's home.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
good.
He's home. He's home. He's telling jokes. He's doing good. He's doing really good. At least that's what I know.
Yeah.
As of, not long ago.
Yeah, great stuff.
Texted back and forth. We've been texting and, during all of this, and, he's doing good.
Whenever I have him on my show, somewhere in the interview, and I'm not blowing smoke, I never do this to anybody, he always mentions you. In some realm, we're talking about pocket, we're talking about people that he loved, and he always seems to mention you. Why is that?
Can I be honest?
Yeah, absolutely.
We like to say stupid shit to each other and we laugh.
Good, because
I'm not kidding. It's just that we always have a good time together. And, we did a really crazy clinic tour in Europe one time. And I think it was 2 weeks. And we did 20 something events. I mean, it was completely nuts.
Right.
We had the best time though. It was really terrific. Yeah, I've known Dom for many, many years.
Yeah.
Cool guy.
You could see there's a connection, and that's a real love. Guys, we are joined by David Garibaldi. Just tremendous stuff. I'd like to start once again by acknowledging your illustrious career and legendary body of work, and to ask you, can the career of a David Garibaldi be sort of a blueprint for an aspiring drummer to be?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, everybody's path is different.
Right.
I think, you have to figure out your way, So, I mean, if what I do inspires people, I think it's really cool. And, I appreciate that. But you got to do what I did, that was given me, the advice was given to me by people I admired, go do your thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I was reading about you recently, and I love what you said that in today's drumming, it's sometimes hard for somebody to find their identity because there's so much out there with social media. But when you do find somebody that has found themselves, that's pretty special.
Well, I think, what we do is art, no more, no less,
Mm-hmm.
And so, you have to create a voice for yourself, I think that's what all the greats do in any field, is they're themselves. I think that's the greatest advice I can give to anybody. If I'm going to give advice, is to be themselves. You can't be anybody else.
Absolutely. What does David Garibaldi, what do you look for, not only when you see a young drummer, but what do you want to see in any drummer? How does it How do you want them to move you? You know, what did they have to do?
Well, they don't have to do anything. I don't have any requirements from anyone. You know, I like players who are just themselves, that are innovative. You know, do their own, have their own voice. I think that's something that I admire. You know, but I have no preconceived notions about anyone. I don't expect to hear anything from anybody. I kind of take it for what it is. And this is art. Everybody is doing. We're all in this together. Everybody's doing the same thing. We're trying to learn, to get better. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you mentioned the word learn, and we educate each other. At 75 years old, and brother, you look tremendous. My
Who's
God,
75? Who's 75? Huh.
I'm sorry. That's not.
Somebody 75 in here?
No, not me. My producer just turned 75. But yeah. You know, we always want to educate as much as we can. Even next month, I mentioned before on the roundtable, I'm playing 40 years drummers. You're playing much longer than that. And we always want to maybe try to look for something maybe to gain. I want to learn from David Garibaldi, who's older than me. I want to learn from somebody that's younger than me. Can you, David Garibaldi, can you watch a drummer that's playing 6 months and learn from them?
A drummer that's playing 6 months and learn from them.
Can you learn something
I guess
from
I could. I guess I could. I mean, I never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only thing I can say is, I look forward to hearing somebody, like that. You know.
Yeah. I just think we could learn from everybody, no matter what their male, female, whatever their gender is, and whatever, how long they've been playing. I think we could always learn from everybody, experienced player or beginner. I think there's something in everybody's playing, not only in music, but in life itself.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you have to stay open for, the changes in your life and the changes in your playing and, all of those things. And, just be in the moment, stay as in the moment as you can. What if you're inspired to do something, music, that, especially if you're a young player and you get this kind of vision for yourself, kind of the player that you want to be, that kind of thing. That's what you pursue. And that's what I did, so that's what all my friends did. All the ones that have made a mark, they did that. They followed their inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Great stuff. We talk about sometimes life events and where it takes us. On January 12th, 2017, was a day that will stick forever. Yourself and bassist Mark Van Wageningen were struck by an Amtrak train. It's out there. It's public records. Everybody knows about it. We're all blessed that you guys are just great and doing much better in awesome stuff. What did the accident do to you, David, that it gave you an intense desire to improve as a musician, as you were quoted?
Well, I don't know that gave me an intense desire to be a musician. I mean, it was a kind of a near-death experience. I mean, I wanted to be a great musician before that. I wasn't expecting that particular thing to happen, but it certainly makes you appreciate the life that you have and what's in it. I would say that I think if anything, I came away from it with an appreciation of how fragile life is, how quickly things can change.
Absolutely. Plain and simple, after all these years, I think you started in Tower and Power in '68. Is that correct? Was it
1970, July
1970?
July 23rd, actually.
1970. Oof. And sometimes we talk about things and they move us in certain ways. We think about the last 52 years with Tower of Power. Um, but what do these three words mean to you internally? What does Tower of Power? What does that mean to you? Besides its drumming, what does that mean to you?
It's my musical home. It's kind of everything that I am musically. I owe to my time with them. The Tower of Power is, it's kind of like an experimental sort of laboratory still,
Mm-hmm.
and because of that, I was able to express myself in a way that maybe other people, don't have available to them, which I really appreciate. I mean, I've never had anybody tell me that in this band, the Tower, I've never had anybody say, please don't do that. It doesn't work that way. With us, we're sort of, trying stuff all the time, and if something doesn't work, we know it. But it's been a really incredible, experience being with all those guys and what we have. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, you watch the live performance, and it's just so raw and real. And I think what you just said, I think that personal, almost like taking chances at time. I think it's welcomed in that band, and everything you guys always try to convey. Go for it and see what happens.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah,
That's all I can say. We have a bunch of really great players who enjoy each other, and it's a very family oriented situation. It's just fun. I don't know how to describe it. It's still fun. That doesn't change.
yeah. We are talking to the great, tremendous David Garibaldi. He's on our first live stream show tonight. Just tremendous to have him with us. Talk to me about the whole evolution of David Garibaldi for as long as you picked up sticks. What has always been, the main motivation for you? What has always been the main purpose, behind the set?
I don't know. It's just fun.
Yeah.
I've just always been inspired by, art, by great artists.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up in the environment that here in the Bay Area, was super creative. It was so much music going on here, that influenced all of us, and kind of like a fusion before they called it that.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things happening here that of every style, really, and that influenced me a lot. I love jazz, I love big band, I love Latin music, I like all kinds of different stuff. I love listening to singers. I don't know. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. Other than that, it's just, I enjoy it. I want to be as good as I can at it. I'm very interested in growing always.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my input on the thing. That's kind of how I view it.
Yeah, absolutely. We always want to make sure everything's going right with everybody. I've noticed that lately. I just turned 53, and sometimes the body doesn't work right. You get these different kind of feelings in the legs and the thighs. What's up with you at at this? I'm sorry, this age now. How I had to catch myself there.
What are you going to say?
How's everything going with the body? Is everything good? You still feel great?
Superpowers are still intact. You know, feeling good. You know, like everybody else, man. You know, you get a little older. You know, your body changes, and you know, you get hit by a train. That doesn't help. You know, so you got to deal with whatever that brings. And but you know, I love fitness. I was on my bike today. I did what 18 miles today,
Nice.
something like that. You know, so I'll ride again tomorrow. I'll do a longer one tomorrow. You know, I think the big thing is the story you tell yourself about yourself.
And is your story totally told yet?
Well, I don't know. The story I tell myself about myself
Right.
is that I'm happy to be alive. I enjoy music. I enjoy my friends. I love challenge. Um, I mean, you know, I just appreciate what I have, you know. So that's the story that I tell myself, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm getting older, but you know, as a doctor told me once, one of my doctors told me, well, we don't use the O word around here. I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. Okay. You know, and then another one of my doctors told me, you know, because I had a period where, you know, I had a bunch of doctors I was had to deal with all the time, you know. And I was asking him about exercise, and he says, yeah, I do this thing I call body preservation. And I thought that was kind of a cool concept, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So body preservation, that sort of stuff. Superpowers, still online. All good.
Any genre of music that you maybe haven't um gotten into yet? Any genre of music you want to take a stab at, or investigate more?
Well, I'm always investigating, you know, but I
Right.
know what I am.
Yeah,
And so,
sure.
you know, I know kind of what I want to do all the time musically. You know, I get ideas. I listen to a lot of different things. I'm inspired by a lot of so I kind of channel it all into this thing that I use, you know, with Tower of Power. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not interested in playing in other bands. I'm not interested in
Right.
playing, you know, other kind of stuff. I love what I do. I like what I do because I can take all the things I learn, all the influences that I have, and I can shape it, you know, and build it into, you know, tower life, which I really just think is just fun and cool, you know.
uh, I love what you said. I know who I am, meaning I know what I could do. So I'm not going to try something that maybe I can't do or I'm not too familiar with. And I think that's a great lesson in life to teach the younger drummers. Maybe some of us want to do too much, but you know what you can do and have done at a legendary status. When we watch you play, I was talking earlier with my producer, and it's like at times this syncopated machine. Uh, it's poetry in motion when you watching you. And again, I'm not blowing smoke. I always keep it real. It's just that style you have. At times, I wish more people would get involved in that. The whole mind process, the thought process of, to just submerge yourself in that style, whatever style they do, and just own it.
Well, you know, I appreciate all, you know, you saying all that, but you
Yeah.
know, it's all a work in progress. I'm a work in progress.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, I'm not saying that because I know that, you know, what I am, that I'm not going to try things. You know, I mean, I'm always doing that. You know, um, I love pushing the envelope, but
Mhm.
when it gets down to it, when I'm, you know, I have a gig and I know what the requirements of the gig are, and the cool thing about it is that I can keep expanding that and adding to it and building, like a deeper experience in that, with TOP, So that's kind of what I do. TOP, teaching, writing books, riding my bike, doing push-ups. Come on.
You're living. You're living. It's the best way to put it. David
Yeah.
Garibaldi is living, and we should all do that every day. David, I can't thank you for this time, this intimate time. What do you got coming up in TOP and everything else?
Well, we're going to start rehearsing Tuesday for a holiday album that we're going to do. We've never done one, Christmas
Okay.
one,
Right.
So rehearsals are Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday we fly out to Philly. We have some gigs, I think we have a gig in Atlantic City and then another one in Connecticut someplace. And, stuff like that, there's always something going on,
Yeah. Atlantic City is an hour from me. I have to come check that out, and that'd be great. But
You want to
David,
come? Hit me up.
yeah, I'll check it out. I appreciate it, David. David, thank you so much for another great interview. I love when you come on. I learned something, and tonight I learned that I think we should always appreciate every moment while we're here, because tonight you've conveyed that thoughts to me, not in those words, but I could just take that. Appreciate everything, live life, and just have fun.
Be yourself. Take care of your superpowers. It's all good, man. Take care of each other. That kind of stuff. It's important,
Guys, the legendary, and I say that again, the legend himself, David Garibaldi. Thank you for so much tonight,
All right, Joe.
David. I'll talk to you down the road, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one. God bless you, brother. Bye-bye.
Have a great night. Oh, great stuff. Whew. The great, great David Garibaldi. Just inspiring at times, you could tell I'll be honest, he's not a bullshit artist. He's not a guy that just says something that says something. I try to get something out of him and I didn't get it. That happens. And I like that. I'm always going to ask questions how I ask them. And sometimes the drummers, and a lot of times they don't answer how I think they're gonna. That's fine. It's great. Like he said, be your own person. So we say thank you. Check them out on Tower Power. I might check him out at Atlantic City. So we say thank you to the tremendous David Garibaldi. Talk about the lovely and talented Laura Pepe Altieri and what she did in the past and what she's doing with us now. It's just great. We get to play now a cool piece of her segment called This Week in Drum History.
This week in drum history.
This Week in Drum History features one of the greatest rock drummers of all time, John Henry Bonham. He was born 74 years ago on May 31st, 1948, in Redditch, England. Happy birthday to the late legend Bonzo. He owned the rhythm section in one of the greatest quartets of rock musicians ever assembled. He was the powerhouse behind the biggest band of the 1970s. Led Zeppelin was as influential during the 70s as the Beatles were during the 60s. John Bonham, the godfather of heavy rock drumming, was a bona fide superstar, right up there with Ringo Starr of the Beatles, Charlie Watts of the Rolling Stones, Keith Moon of the Who, and Ginger Baker of Cream. He was one of the most important and influential drummers of the 60s and 70s. Bonham possessed what Ginger Baker called a God-given gift of time. He was a natural drummer, sensitive to rhythm from an early age. He beat pots and pans in his parents' kitchen and built his first drum kit out of leftover containers and coffee cans when he was 5 years old. By the age of 10, he had moved up to a real drum and then later a complete used drum kit that his father bought for him. Like a lot of inspiring drummers of his generation, Bonham's musical awareness transcended rock and roll. His idols included such percussion icons as Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich. Bonham's speed, power, fast bass drumming, distinctive sound, and feel for the groove was mind-blowing. Whether he was hitting the bass, the snare, the cymbals, or the symphonic gong, Bonham played with the power of a pair of pile drivers, using the longest and heaviest sticks he could get his hands on, which he called trees. John Bonham was the quintessential rock musician who partied like a rock star. And sadly, on September 25th, 1980, at 32 years old, that lifestyle got the best of him. Toxicology reports showed that in a span of 24 hours, Bonham had drunk around 40 shots of 40-proof ABV 80-proof vodka, after which he vomited and choked to death. In a heartfelt, epic tribute to him, the remaining members disbanded Led Zeppelin rather than replace him. They said in a press release on December 4th, 1980, "We wish it to be known that the loss of our dear friend and the deep respect we have for his family, together with the sense of undivided harmony felt by ourselves and our manager, have led us to decide that we could not continue as we were. It was signed, Led Zeppelin. Rest in peace, Bonzo."
You're back.
Guys, we are back. Thank you, Laura, Pepe, Altieri, for another tremendous This Week in Drum History. Guys, it's been a very interesting first video live stream show. And, we always appreciate the viewers. If you could just hit that like and subscribe button and the notification bell. That's very important, the notification bell, to keep you updated on everything we're doing around the kid. Great show. Some technical stuff in the beginning, but great show. Thank you for the roundtable guests. We had Mark Zonder and Paul Wertico call in. Tom Brechtlein didn't get to call in. He had some difficulties, but it's okay. It happens. Thank you to Mark Zonder and Paul Wertico. And our main guest just knocked it out of the park once again. Matt Halpern and David Garibaldi. Our team, Doug Meola, Laura Pepe Altieri, and a big, big thanks to the guy making this all happen tonight, the great John Besser, doing a great job producing and directing. We didn't talk about the calendar that much. Let's get to it real fast. Our next show is June 12th, Sunday night, June 12th, in 2 weeks. The Nashville take, we have David Northup and Tom Hurst. And then June 26th, we have the Legends Show. I call that the Legends Show. A little pause in my voice there. I got the Legends Show.
You'll be all right.
With Liberty DeVito and Les Binks. Guys, thank you for a really cool first video live stream show. And we will see everybody 2 weeks, June 12th, live on YouTube on Around the Kid. Thanks, guys.